No way. Are you guys seeing this? Wow, zooming back the past almost 3 years all the way to the very top of Bitcoin, we are now facing the golden pocket of this zone right here. The very bottom of this golden pocket is around 99, and the breakout of this golden pocket is, you guessed it, right around 10.5K. And on top of that, the last 365-day Fibonacci retracement lines up perfectly with that as well at the 786, guys. So obviously breaking this previous lower high is the most critical thing, the very last thing that we would need to see on these charts. Now on the 4-hour chart, we did get the breakout from this bullish pennant that we were talking about, but is this going to be enough? We're consolidating right around the $10,000 level. Will we have enough? Will we have enough juice to really push this bad boy up here? Or could we see a retracement, a rejection back to our 6-year trend line that we've been mentioning? The juice has never been looser. And guys, the countdown continues. It is almost the halving. What can we expect? In celebration of that, we're going to be looking at some absolutely critical price predictions here. Some by 100K by the end of next year, and why this perfect wedge that we have completed may actually make Bitcoin more likely to reach even crazier valuations. Are these price predictions realistic, or are they absolute turkey gobble? Let's jump into the webisode. Wow, what's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another exciting episode. Yesterday was absolutely massive to be a part of. Absolutely huge, guys. Excitement here and there, excitement everywhere. It was absolutely intense. Now, there's something super important going on with these charts, because technically we still haven't broken the most critical level, and we can actually show you it on this chart. If we zoom in and we get rid of the Fibonacci, which we're going to get into more detail about, we haven't actually gotten such a break. We're actually basically fighting right now in this important line. So we're going to be talking about that and many more things, guys. And as well, congrats to the winner yesterday. They were in Africa, actually, so I sent them Bitcoin instead. True. So, guys, make sure if you want to enter for these ledgers, make sure to hit that like, hit that ding, hit that smasher, hit that masher, and let's do this. Wow, guys, before we get into the normal analysis, I actually want to talk about this as well. And we can actually give this a quick refresh real quick, and we'll change it to the 24-hour percent gain. 0x, up over 75% in the last 24 hours. We have basic attention token as well. We have Icon, Amise Go, Nano. Guys, there is some, you can see this absolutely parabolic lines on the chart here. There's some massive pumpage going on within these alticular coins here. It's absolutely insane. So does this mean that the Bitcoin run is over and there's some money flowing into the alts for a very short term? Or does Bitcoin have a lot more juice on the loose to get this bad boy above 10K? Now, we have a lot to get into. Technically, Bitcoin is on some charts above 10K. Actually, as of right now, at me recording, it's a little below it. You can see here on this really important line that I have on here, this is on Coinbase's chart, we're basically sitting right on top of this line. So this is not really a confirmed breakout of this pattern at all just yet. We did get slightly above it, but we could easily get rejected here. So we want to remain vigilant and ready for anything to happen. What an impressive move though, guys. Yesterday was absolutely wild, and I think there's a lot to go over. So the main thing I want to show you here first is that if we take this all the way back and we go back almost 3 years to December of 2017, when Bitcoin topped out at about 20,000 US dollars. Let's actually take the Fibonacci retracement, not of the last 365 days like this chart is, but of the last, what is this, like almost 900 days or something like that, 2.5 years, over 2.5 years. We take that from the top and we go to the low, just the most simple reference of this. And you can see here that where we have Bitcoin trading right now is the golden pocket of this entire downtrend. Okay, you can see the first resistance we faced was above the 786 when we really rallied up there. And then the next high we formed actually found a lot of resistance right in this golden pocket. And now we're basically in that same exact area. So 100%, if we break above this area here, that is absolute breakout mode. Okay, things would go crazy if we broke above that, but you have to keep in mind where that is right now is right around the pretty obvious level of resistance is 10.5, so 10,500 US dollars. The bottom of that Fibonacci zone, the golden pocket, is right around 98.70 or about 9,900. Let's make it even. So it's about a $600 range here, and we're at the very bottom of that right now as of the last 24 hours. So to confirm absolute bullishness, we would need to break above that, and as well, we would need to really break above this descending line, which, as you guys can see, we're at the very lowest limits of both of these things here. So it is not, as of right now, as of this moment of me recording, we haven't had a confirmed second breakout of yesterday's breakout, but we are right on the cusp, okay? There's only a few days left until the halving. I think excitement is really, really building up. Will the halving be able to push it above that? And even if it does, guys, what are the chances, because we've had 8 green weekly candles now, once some momentum subsides, what are the chances that we do have a little bit of a pullback? We have to keep that in mind as well. Pullback targets I'm looking for specifically would actually be right around like the $9,000 level, right around here. And at the very, very lowest for a pullback, I think very lowest and still remain and absolutely bullish is right around 8,800, which is this blue line right here, guys. Let's take a quick zoom back. We're not going to go all the way back because we'd be scrolling for quite a bit, but this line goes back about 6 years, okay? So this is huge that we broke above it. We first found support here when we bounced on the inverse head and shoulder back in December of 2019. It's just been a really important line. You remember when we tried to find support here for like dozens of 4-hour candles and absolutely failed? That is when the massive drop came. So this is by far the most important line. And what's awesome too is that this bull pennant, actually the bottom of the bull pennant was this line, which is super bullish and also super awesome to take a look at. Very nice consistency there, very similar to how we have the culmination of this descending line going as well right into the halving, where we're touching the top of it as the halving is right here as well. So again, so many consistencies and so many interesting things playing out on these mega charts. But I think the question on everyone's mind right now is, did we run out of steam for the short term, or are we going to be able to push above this? Because guys, by the time you see this video, maybe we'll probably have seen a breakout, because I don't anticipate this really taking too much longer to see a move here. But we're really consolidating here. Are we going to form another pattern on this 4-hour chart, or are we just going to straight up moon, or are we going to get a very sharp rejection? My strategy right now is to sit on the sideline, because this is very, I would say this is a high risk play, super high risk. So anyone trading this, I mean, obviously this isn't financial advice, but guys, be cautious, okay? Be very cautious here, because this is an absolutely critical moment here. Definitely just try and be patient and watch this, okay? And I think another clue we might be seeing that is because we have so many of these smaller alts just absolutely pumping like crazy. We see some money probably flowing into these alts, which is very interesting right now. I got a lot of comments yesterday like, Bitcoin's pumping, but the altcoins are doing nothing. Guys, everything in my experience from the past like 3.5 years, when Bitcoin goes on a rally, immediately, the altcoins don't do anything, okay? The altcoins don't do anything. Bitcoin goes on a rally, and then the money later flows into the alts when Bitcoin is done with its run. Okay, if we take a zoom back to 2017, Bitcoin topped out about 20K, but the alts didn't top out. A lot of these alts didn't top out until like a month later, in like the middle of January. So Bitcoin topped out the first week and a half of December 2017, and then other altcoins were reaching their all-time highs an entire month later, while Bitcoin was kind of on a little downtrend. So Bitcoin going up 10% and every other altcoin going up 10%, that's not what happens. Bitcoin goes up usually on a massive run, and then the money flows into the alts weeks afterwards. And one thing I do think, if we're going to get a bounce here, we might actually come back to test this 4-hour moving average right here, and I could see that being a very strong point of lifting off, maybe for one more push. But I don't think for the very short term over the next 24 hours, I don't think we're going to have a ton of juice to keep going up. And especially, guys, keep in mind, today is Friday, the weekend's coming up. We want to avoid having a weekend gap as much as we can. We've been very fortunate over the past few weeks specifically not to create these weekend gaps to the downside. Okay, for example, let's say we pump up to here on the weekend, then we give ourselves a gap right here to potentially fill some point in the future. So definitely keep your eyes glued to the tubes. And as well, you guys, this is absolutely critical. So Benjamin Pyrus posted on Cointelegraph that Bitcoin may blow past $100,000 as early as the year 2021. The CEO of Morgan Creek says. Now, before we get into this, I want to say as well, guys, I'm sure you heard that news yesterday about the billionaire investing into Bitcoin, making it public. Guys, this is only going to continue, and this guy has not always been very bullish on Bitcoin. In fact, even as early as August 2019, he referred to Bitcoin as a chaos hedge or schmuck insurance. So this guy's not necessarily like a big Bitcoin bull, or wasn't always, and he's not even necessarily maybe now, but he's pulling out very, very bullish predictions, and he was previously a critic. Okay, we see this all the time. People talk heck on Bitcoin, they talk crap on Bitcoin, and then it turns out they end up supporting Bitcoin and becoming huge advocates of Bitcoin. So basically, he's the CEO of Morgan Creek, which is a capital management giant. His name is Mark Yusko. He said he sees Bitcoin price shooting up to more than 1,000% as early as next year. Okay, Bitcoin's market cap achieves the same value as that of gold, and Bitcoin could logically see its price push past $100,000 sometime between 2021 and 2022. And he said this only 2 days ago. Okay, here's one of his quotes. If we come to gold equivalents, meaning the market cap of Bitcoin equals the market cap of gold, which I think is perfectly logical, you could see that 400,000 to 500,000 Bitcoin price sometime. Now that might sound a little crazy, but we're getting into more details about why, because there are some situations that make that very likely. I stated a time horizon of approximately 7 to 10 years for Bitcoin to reach those specifically, but he's talking about $100,000 per Bitcoin within the next, a year and a half. And it goes into detail about how he was not always bullish on Bitcoin, calling it schmuck insurance. Now, this is a little crazier. This was posted on Cointelegraph as well by William Suberg. Okay, the perfect wedge makes $1 million per Bitcoin more likely than ever, according to Raoul Pal. He says here a move to $40,000 and even higher is now easier than ever. Okay, he's an investment CEO who obviously is pretty bullish on Bitcoin right now. The chances that Bitcoin will hit $40,000 and even $1 million have risen dramatically after the top crypto hit $10,000 just yesterday. And he says here, using classical charting techniques, $40,000 becomes reality. His direct quote, well, that gives you a price object for this run potentially, okay, keyword potentially, of $1 million. Now, this is not within the next 2 years. This is further out, okay, so keep that in mind. No way Bitcoin is hitting $1 million within the next year or two, unless the absolute crazy situation in the world, everything in the world changes or something absolutely insane happens, which is very unlikely. It says here, using a log chart, he can produce a 1 standard deviation move to 40,000 and a 2 standard potential to 1 million. Now, guys, keep that in mind. 1 million is very, very out there. It's a crazy price prediction. You know, maybe 7 to 10 years down the road, that could become reality. But we're not talking about in the short term here. Now, his last quote here, add that the entire world's central banks are either seeing their currencies collapse to the almighty dollar, or they're printing money like crazy. Okay, huge quantitative easing, fiat meets the hardest money that automatically quantitatively tightens. Bitcoin wins. So basically, you know, I mean, for anybody following Bitcoin, this makes a lot of sense when you're just printing money, especially what's happening in the US and actually some European countries as well, where there's just money getting thrown out, just being created out of thin air. That makes the money less valuable. And in a time like this, this is exactly what Bitcoin was created for, to be used as an alternative to this fake funny money, this baloney money that we keep spending our hard-earned cash, you know, with this fake money, this monopoly money, right? So it's absolutely huge. And again, there would be a lot of things that would have to change. I think it's almost near impossible to predict just what could happen with fiat currencies over the next few years. A lot of people anticipate maybe it will collapse. Very likely, but I mean, it would be impossible to pinpoint what time frames, how exactly would happen. There are many countries that could potentially fall victim to it. So, you know, in what order the collapse could happen, there are so many different things that could happen. But we're in the middle of a cataclysmic event right now in our global situation. So again, nothing is too crazy right now. But one thing that's very awesome to see is that the Bitcoin space is just as bullish in terms of sentiment as it was a few years ago, guys. Remember, Bitcoin is basically world known right now. Most people are not invested in it, but so many people around the world have heard of it in the last few years, more so than any time in history. It's absolutely huge. Well, definitely something to think about. Now, guys, in the meantime, if you wanted to learn more about TA or anything else, if you want to get a ledger from the site, make sure to check out the links pinned to the comments. And for anybody sticking around, we're still doing a promotional code, $40 off with the code JUICE at checkout for T4, where you learn technical analysis, lines, patterns, you name it. So guys, thanks so much for watching. Drop that comment and I'll see you in the next one.